Hey y'all, so right now I'm just gonna be spraying her hands with alcohol just to remove all the shine off her nails. Even if she had any lotion on or anything. I'm gonna be pushing back the cuticles now to expose some new growth and to get rid of some of the dead skin. So I'm gonna be doing it to all 10 of her fingers. So right here, you're gonna see me go in with the cuticle bit just to remove the dead skin around her cuticle area, because you don't want to have any dead skin on the nail plate because that can cause lifting. So right here, I'm going to go in with my fine grit sanding band. This is just to remove the shine off her natural nail plate. It is definitely one of the most important steps in doing nails, just because you don't want your client's nails to lift, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm doing this thoroughly and getting all of that shine off her nails. And remember, you're just literally removing the shine. You don't want to file her nails. Like, you're just removing the shine. That's it. Now I'm just going to dust the nails. And I'm just going to go ahead and size her nails for the nail tips. And I'm going to do that with all 10 of them. Usually this takes me a little while because they come in bags, as you can see. So I have to like individually open every bag and size their nail tips. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to all 10 of them, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I'm just cutting the tips to my client's preferred length. She wants them a long length, so that's what I'm gonna give her. She wanted a tapered square. That's why I prefer to use these tips, because they give that perfect tapered square look. So I like to flip the hand around just to make sure that all the fingers are the same length. And I do the same with the other hand, of course. Now I'm going to go ahead and compare both hands and make sure all the fingers are the same length. And cut the excess off, of course. So now I'm going to go ahead and blend the tip with my fine grit sanding band. It's the same one that I used to remove the shine off her natural nail. And this is really optional, honestly, but I'm going in with color, so I like to blend the nail. Now I'm going in with my 80/80 grit hand file. I usually would do this step before blending the tip, but I didn't ask her until after the fact. Don't be like me, guys. But yeah, that's what we're doing. Now I'm just wiping her natural nail plate with alcohol to remove the dust and the shine that I may have left on. You're going to see me prime the nail basically one nail at a time just because I'm going to be using two different colors. One is a glitter acrylic. So anyways, I'm using Young Nails Protein Bond, which is amazing. I absolutely love it. I've been using it for a very long time now. And that is the Mia Secret Bond as well, which sometimes I use depending on the colors, like I said. But right now I'm going to go in with my white and I'm going to get a pretty decent bead. It's going to go right there in the middle. And I'm going to make sure I get all the acrylic on the top of the nail before I start to drag it down. I'm not like pulling it, I'm patting it and pulling it slightly, making sure that the acrylic is still on the nail. I'm not wasting the acrylic. I used to like swipe the nail like I was painting it, and that's not the case here. You're building the nail, you're not painting the nail. So my next bead is going to be a little bit smaller than the first one. It's going to go literally right above where that first bead ended. And I'm just going to slightly pull it down, patting it, pulling it, patting it, pulling it, like feathering it down. You don't want to drag it, you just want to feather it down and let that acrylic work itself. So this next bead is going to be smaller than the both, and it's going to be a little drier. It's going to be closer to the cuticle, so I'm going to be pushing it up and pulling it down, feathering it down like I did to the second bead. Making sure that I fill in all the holes, because if you leave any holes, you will have lifting. Any water, anything could get in there. It can cause infections. All that. We don't want that. We don't want that. So make sure you fill in those holes. I didn't pull the acrylic up far enough, so I'm going to go ahead in with another small bead. This one's going to be my cuticle bead. I'm going to push it as close to the cuticle as possible, blending that down. And smoothing it out. And always make sure that you're cleaning your brush constantly with your monomer, because if not, you will get acrylic stuck in your brush, and they're not cheap. And if you need to add a little bit of acrylic just to fill in the spaces that you missed, you can do that. Just make sure you don't add too much. You don't want a lumpy nail. And make sure you clean around the cuticle area with the tip of your brush to give that clean look. And boom, beautiful. Now I'm going to go ahead and go in with the rest of the nails, my Young Nails Protein Bond. And I like to do just one hand at a time, only because the primer only lasts for 20 minutes and then it's not activated anymore. So keep that in mind when you're putting primer on. And if you're like, you know, take your time with acrylic application like I do, which is important and it saves you time. So don't rush, just take your time. So now I'm just going ahead with my color, doing the same thing that I did with the first nail, making sure that I have all the acrylic on top of the nail before I'm dragging it down. Keep in mind this is a colored acrylic, so it does work a little different than cover powders and clear, of course. It's more runnier because it's more pigmented, of course. So I'm not going to be making this nail thick. I'm going to be building my apex with the clear acrylic. I'm just going to make sure I have the red all over the nail. That way when I go with my clear, I'm just building it, and yeah. A good tip to making sure that you don't flood the cuticles with the acrylic is making sure that your client's nails are facing downwards. That way you don't have to worry about the acrylic going to the sides. And even if you do get them on the sides, just use the tip of your brush to clean around the cuticles with the monomer. Alrighty, so now we're going in with the clear acrylic, and this is just going to build the nail. We already have our color on here. We're literally just building our apex now with this clear. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm just patting and pulling, patting and pulling. I'm not dragging the acrylic off. I am building it. Okay, so now I'm going with my cuticle bead, and I'm just going to be patting and pulling again, and I'm going to be flushing the cuticle area with the tip of my brush. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that to all 10 of the fingers, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going back in with my 8080 grit hand file, and I'm just filing the side walls, making sure that I'm getting the underneath of the nail. I also went ahead and filed the top of the nail just to smooth out the surface. Okay, so now I'm using my 5-in-1 bit, and I'm going to use this to seal the cuticle area, making sure that I'm separating the acrylic from her cuticle. Okay, now I'm going back in with my fine grit sanding band, and I'm just smoothing out the surface of the nail, making sure that I'm getting all the little ridges and bumps off the nail that I might have left. You always want to make sure you're cleaning underneath of the nail, using that e-file to drill the underneath part. Turn your client's hand around to make sure that the nails are straight and they're even in length, and they look beautiful. Look at that. You can look underneath of the nail, make sure there's no acrylic. And then I just go in with my fine grit buffer and I just buff out the entire nail. And do that with all 10, of course. And after this step, of course, I just have my client go wash and scrub her hands so that I can proceed with either the designs or the top coat. So this is how they turned out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!